Hi, Gina with today's thought, and today we're going back to Gaza to continue a subject that I've talked about a couple of times, the Trump plan and the various commentary about the plan. Some people supporting it, some people opposing it, and I pointed out especially the contradiction of the people. It's this, I don't know, I could say double standard, but maybe it's multiple standard, where Israel, no matter what Israel does, damned if you do, damned if you don't. And one of the accusations made against Israel is that Gaza is quote unquote open air prison. Well, a prison is something that you keep people trapped inside, like East Berlin, let's say, before Germany was, under the Soviet Union, where East Berlin was an open-air prison. It was almost impossible. There was a wall. You could be shot if you were an East Berliner going over that wall. That's what an open-air prison is. Now, the Israelis, they've made it clear that the Palestinians, in Gaza, the GAZANS, they can leave anytime they want. The Israelis aren't keeping them there, and they would actually be glad to see them leave. And I even suggested in an earlier thought that offer them money to leave. I said $50,000 for every man, woman, and child in Gaza. So a family of four, that is, and Arab families can be quite large. But a family of four, that's $200,000. You should be able to settle anywhere. But you might not even have to do that, because everybody is talking about, is arguing this back and forth. And what is the one group that we haven't heard from? Well, tick, 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 like the quiz shows say, think it over for a second. Okay, buzzer goes off, here's the answer. GAZANS, the people of Gaza, what do they want? Do they want to stay in Gaza, or would they want to leave? And we now have an answer, and that's what I'm going to share today. Now, it's an article. I'm going to link to the whole article, but basically all I'm going to do from now on, until I'll give you my final thoughts at the end, probably, but just read you the article, quote the article, the first part of the article, and, you'll see how the GAZANS feel. All right, so here we go, starting now. We'll leave without regret. Surprising data show GAZANS welcome Trump plan. Since U.S. President Donald Trump announced his plan to evacuate Palestinians from Gaza on February 4th, social media platforms have been flooded with posts from Gaza residents expressing their desire to leave, while, this is the important part, while Arab nations maintain their strong opposition to the proposal. In one notable example, a Gaza resident shared on Facebook, "When I get the chance to leave this land, I will never feel regret. I will never fill my social media accounts with lies and hypocrisy about how much I miss it. I will regret every minute I spent in this place where young people are drowning in worries. This place is no longer habitable. Everything here is pathetic and disappointing. The problem lies with the place. We are good. We are excellent. We are exceptional for having survived thus far. But now we are leaving without regret. We left regret behind. In this place, we no longer wish to give a second chance," the Gazan continued. In the northern Gaza Strip, resident Bilal Habu wrote, "Trump will never back down from the migration idea. We must distinguish between forced migration and voluntary migration. Everything happening now indicates that voluntary migration is approaching. For those who want to leave Gaza, everything happening now is a signal to strengthen this desire among many Gaza residents." Gaza journalist Omar Abed-Rabo addressed the plan directly. Facing Trump's proposal, there are only two options: either remove Hamas from Gaza or take Gaza residents abroad. Otherwise, the war will continue. From Rafah in southern Gaza, Ahmad Shakaki said, "Allah will take revenge on those who brought us to this situation. We want to migrate. Hurry up, Trump. We cannot hold on like this anymore. One of the hardest nights of our lives." Meanwhile, Arab nations continue to mount opposition. So there you go. Just my last thoughts on this, and we'll start with that last line. The Gazans, people of Gaza, they want to leave. All of them, maybe not. Well, Hamas doesn't want to leave. Well, let Hamas stay there and let everybody else leave, and then the Israelis can go in there and eliminate Hamas, and then put the Trump plan into effect, and then these Gazans who left may want to come back. But as Trump himself predicted, he just said they won't want to come back, and that's most likely. I can tell you, anybody who is like me, who was born in one place and moved somewhere. I was born in Detroit. I left 1977, so never mind 10, 15 years later. Oh, that was icicles. If you heard that boom, that was icicles. It's 10 degrees here as I'm reporting this, or about 13 degrees, or it was, and it's getting warmer. Icicles are just falling off my roof and making all this noise, and thank God I wasn't standing under those icicles, because they're very pointy, and hard. Anyways, getting back to what I was talking about, Trump said that Gazans won't want to come back. And as I was saying, I left Detroit in 1977, and never mind, Trump said it would, others have said too, that it would take 10, 15 years to rebuild Gaza. And when these people, if they're out for 10 or 15 years, never mind 10 or 15 years, when I was out of Detroit for I went back to visit after 6 months, and I can tell you I had no desire to go back to Detroit. I moved from Detroit to New York, and I had no desire to go back from New York to Detroit after only 6 months. And I then lived in New York for little over 40 years. I am now in Tennessee. I have no desire. I go back to visit New York, but I have no desire right now to go back and live in New York. Definitely not. If I have $1 million, maybe I would go back. But, it's expensive, and there's a lot of problems in New York, and the taxes and everything. Right now, I have no desire to go back. And I'm asking you, all of you, especially our friends on the left, any of you who are saying, let's keep insisting on keeping the Gazans trapped in what they themselves call, and the liberals call, an open-air prison. Well, how many of you have been away from your home, from where you were born? How many of you live somewhere else other than where you were born and brought up? How many of you have been away for 15 years and are eager to go back? I would say none of you. If you're a Gazan living a comfortable life in another country, then you're not going to want to go back. It is that simple. But I'll probably have more thoughts on this in the future, because it's really a larger subject than people may think. But to rebuild Gaza, especially, you have all these, remember, just about every building in Gaza was booby-trapped, okay? Most of the buildings were knocked down. The rest, anybody, you don't have to be, I'm a real estate broker, but you don't have to be a real estate broker. You don't have to be Donald Trump to understand that before you can rebuild Gaza, just like any other construction site, you have to raise the area, R-A-Z-E, not raise up, raise down. You have to destroy every structure. You have to clear them all out of there, reduce everything to a bare patch of ground, and then you can start to rebuild. Now, how do you do that with Gazans actually living there? You can't. So they have to be moved out of there, or they have to stay in the south while the north is rebuilt, and then everybody, including the people in the south, have to move to the north while the south is rebuilt, and stay in that situation either way for 10, 15 years. And, just say that ain't going to happen. That makes no sense at all. And I'll actually have more thoughts on this in another thought probably, but for today. Oh, and last thing I want to address is something that I had planned to do a thought on this, and maybe I'll do it in the future. But as this person, one of the persons said, it was a journalist who said, like me, I guess I'm a journalist now these days. Gaza journalist Omar Obed Rabo addressed the plan directly, facing Trump's proposal. There are only, it has nothing to do with his proposal, but there really are only two options. If you care if you are one of these people, you're the bleeding hearts for the Palestinians, if you care about the Palestinians so much, then you understand that they can never have a productive life under Hamas. And they can never have a productive life in Gaza with, if Gaza says, as Hamas said, they said they're willing to step down and not control the government, not govern anymore. But then you get a situation like Hezbollah in Lebanon, where, okay, the Palestinian Authority or whoever can come in and they can direct the traffic and manage the sewer system and the power station and all that, and leave us, Hamas free to just concentrate on, as Hezbollah did in Lebanon, leave them free to import weapons and dig tunnels and prepare to attack Israel and have none of the responsibility of doing the day-to-day things of running a government. So that is not an option. It's, as this journalist said, either you cannot, if you care about the Palestinians, you cannot have either the Hamas has to leave Gaza, or if Hamas is going to stay in Gaza, then everybody else who doesn't want to be under Gaza has to leave. There is, as they say, as the bad guy in the B Western says, this town in this case Gaza ain't big enough for the both of us. Either Hamas is there or the regular Gazans are there, and you cannot have them both there. So somebody has to leave, and the best option would be Hamas. But if not, but again, for the rebuilding, bottom line, if they voluntarily want to leave, why not let them leave? And all these bleeding hearts who are so worried about Hamas, then accept them, especially these European countries. Remember what Merkel said, the former chancellor of Germany, or somebody, well, I was going to say wittily, but perceptively said, Angela Merkel, Germany's second worst chancellor. And as she said, wir schaffen das. I mean, we can do this, when she was opening the borders to allow these immigrants from all these countries, from Syria, from all these Arab, these Middle Eastern countries, which is why you're having all these problems in Germany with, crime, and especially anti-Semitism. So if you let them all in, so let in, what's a couple million Gazans, okay, from Gaza, if you're letting in from everywhere else. Though I think that's, actually Germany is having an election this week, and I'm recording this on Thursday, and you'll see tomorrow, Friday, but over the weekend, Germany is having an election, and there's, maybe I'll talk about them someday. There's a right-wing party, Alternative for Deutschland, Alternative for Germany, AfD, the initials, that it looks like they're going to be doing very well, and they're one of the parts of the main, not the only part of their platform, but a main part of it is clamping down, stopping immigration, and maybe deporting a lot of the people who were let into the country, who, as Trump is doing here, at least deporting those people who have criminal backgrounds, who are not assimilating and becoming good citizens. So we'll see what happens. Oh, and another part of their platform is strong support for Israel. The one is right wing, just like the right in our country, Republicans or conservative, they're all bigots and so on. So they very strongly support Israel. Anyways, that's it for today. That's my thought. Multiple thoughts for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone that you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.